Okay, let's unpack this. Um, you know that feeling when you're trying to learn something new, maybe achieve a big goal, and it just feels like you're the only one who can possibly handle all the
Oh,
pieces.
yeah, totally.
Like if you really want to get it, understand a subject, or, get a project off the ground, it feels like it's all on your shoulders.
Hmm.
And well, for those of us always looking to go deeper, understand more, but without getting totally buried under information, that feeling, having to do everything ourselves, it's pretty familiar.
It is. And what's fascinating, really, is how often you see really, really capable people just hit a wall. They plateau.
Why is that?
Simply because they try to manage every single little aspect of whatever they're working on, a project, a business.
Right.
It's that classic thing where trying to do more actually means you end up doing less effectively, especially when it comes to focusing on what really moves the needle.
Exactly. And that brings us nicely to our focus for this deep dive, the whole idea of building an affiliate team. Now, I know that might sound super specific, but hang with me here. We're going to be digging into insights from James the Marketer. He had this recent article, April 28th, 2025, Building an Affiliate Team Secrets to Creating a Powerful Squad.
I saw that one.
But think about this less as just, niche business advice and more like a strategy, a way to expand what you can do, expand your knowledge without feeling completely underwater.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture, James the Marketer's piece really hits on a core problem, doesn't it? How do you actually multiply your expertise,
Yeah.
your impact? His article kind of addresses that feeling of being stuck, and it offers, well, a potential way through those limits by, strategically bringing other people in.
So our mission here today, pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the most crucial insights from this article. When should you build a team? And maybe more importantly, how do you do it right?
Okay.
Goal is to give you some actionable advice, help you maybe sidestep some of the common mistakes James the Marketer talks about.
Which brings up a really basic question right away. Why? Why even think about building a team?
Good point.
And James the Marketer tackles that head on. He highlights, the built-in limits of trying to do everything yourself.
Right. He uses this great analogy, actually. Brilliant chefs. They open their own restaurants and then they struggle. They're absolute masters in the kitchen, right? But then they get bogged down. Marketing, hiring, strategy, all the stuff that pulls them away from their main strength, the food.
And if you tie that to the 80-20 rule he mentions, it really hammers the point home.
Yeah.
By trying to juggle every single task, you dilute your focus. You can't concentrate on that 20% of stuff that actually drives 80% of the results.
You'll spread too thin.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's hard to really excel at anything specific.
Precisely. You're managing so much, you never quite achieve mastery in any one area. He quotes that old saying, Jack of all trades, master of none. And you end up missing opportunities just because you don't have the bandwidth, right? And you never quite reach that deep level of skill because your attention's always split.
Which naturally
Yeah.
leads to the next idea.
Yeah.
That growth, pretty much anywhere, means bringing in the right people.
Not just any people.
No, the right people. James the Marketer even points to Facebook. Huge company, obviously. But he reminds us its success wasn't just one person.
Exactly. He really stresses finding business-minded people who align with your vision and, crucially, people who bring relevant experience. It's not just about adding bodies. It's finding people who actually get the goals and know how to reach them.
And he makes a really important distinction, I think. He suggests you need an affiliate teammate, someone focused on the affiliate side, driving traffic, sales.
Okay.
Then a media buyer, someone schooled in buying ad space effectively.
Okay.
And also a trusted ally.
A trusted ally, what does that mean?
It emphasizes partnership, right?
Yes.
People invested in the success, not just employees clocking in and out.
Okay, got it. Now, for anyone listening thinking, great, I'll just rope in my cousin Bob and my best friend Sally, James the Marketer puts the brakes on that pretty hard. He calls that approach an extreme risk. Why is that so risky?
Well, the main issue is usually that gap between, good intentions and actual skills and experience. You might trust your friends, your family, sure. But if they don't have the specific expertise you need, it can cause huge frustration. It can actually hold you back.
He also takes a quick look at the usual recruitment spots and, well, he's pretty blunt. LinkedIn.
Too expensive, he says.
Yeah.
You're up against big companies with deep pockets.
Okay. Upwork.
Just overwhelming. Too many candidates to even look at properly, plus they take that 10% cut.
Right. And Craigslist?
He basically just labels it full of scammers. So, yeah, not exactly glowing reviews there.
No. So what's the alternative then?
Well, what's interesting is how he boils down effective hiring to this kind of golden rule. Always aim to interview at least 3 high-quality candidates.
3.
Which immediately flags the danger of just grabbing the first person who looks okay, especially when you're feeling pressured to just get anyone, in the door.
And speaking of quick fixes, what about just outsourcing, farming it all out to an agency? James, their marketer, actually advises against relying only on agencies, particularly early on.
Yeah, his reasoning there is interesting.
What is it?
His argument is, look, agencies can definitely help. They have a role. But if you rely on them exclusively, it can become a way to avoid the really crucial work, which is building your own core team.
Your internal capability.
Exactly. Getting those specific skills and that deep understanding inside your own operation for the long haul. Outsourcing is useful, sure, but maybe not a total substitute for building your own engine.
So if we're being picky about who we hire, and maybe not just throwing money at agencies, what kind of people should we actually be looking for? He gives some specific criteria, right?
He does. Pretty specific. He's just looking for experienced affiliates, people with a real track record of investing in their own stuff, like specifically having spent over $100,000 on their own campaigns.
Wow, okay. That shows commitment.
It shows commitment, yeah, and usually a pretty deep understanding. He also, interestingly, values sales managers who've seen a lot of deals fail. He mentions over 100 failed deals.
Why failure?
Because that often means they've learned a ton. Resilience, knowing what doesn't work. And then third, he highlights young, hungry media buyers. Eager to learn, ready to grow under guidance.
He also mentions personality traits being important, doesn't he? Things like being independent.
Yeah, absolutely. Independence, a positive attitude, no constant complaining and efficiency, that real gut understanding that time is money.
Right.
He makes a super strong point. One really capable person who can just run with things. Way more valuable than, say, 3 people who are unreliable or need constant hand-holding.
So the goal is?
The ultimate goal, he says, is aiming for building mini versions of yourself. Basically scaling your own abilities through really competent team members.
Mini versions of yourself. I like that. Okay, now we know kind of who to look for. Let's flip it. What not to do. James, the marketer, shares some of his own past mistakes, right? Lessons learned.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
One of the big ones is that pitfall of hiring mainly based on friendship.
We talked about that risk?
Exactly. It can work, he admits, but those friends, they must still meet clear standards for performance. And, this is crucial, they have to respect your role, your authority in that professional setting.
That could be tricky.
Very tricky. He also really emphasizes having super clear guidelines and expectations for any task you assign. You need to know exactly what you need done before you bring someone on.
Don't just hire someone and figure it out later.
No. And another big one, don't rush the hiring. That first candidate, the one who looks good on paper right away, might not actually be the best fit long-term.
Patience is key.
Patience is key. He talks about his own experience, wasting months with the wrong hires. And the big lesson, investing more time, more effort up front to find the right person saves so much hassle and time down the road.
Okay, makes sense. So how do we avoid those mistakes? How do we actually set up a hiring process that works? He outlined some steps, right?
Yeah, several essential steps. It starts with the basics, obviously. Carefully review resumes. Really check their work history. Don't just glance at it.
Due diligence.
Due diligence. But he also adds a critical step. Assign test tasks.
Ah, like a practical test.
Exactly. Get a real-world feel for their skills, how they actually tackle problems.
And it's not just about the hard skills, is it? He talks about personality.
Yeah, huge emphasis on that. Finding someone who fits the culture, who's going to integrate well, bring something positive. He even suggests trying role-playing in interviews to gauge that better.
Role-playing, interesting.
And very relevant now.
Yeah.
He encourages being open to hiring people you've never met face-to-face. Remote teams are common. He also gives tips on what to look for in those first emails or messages from candidates. Clear communication, fluent English if that's needed, any signs of creative thinking.
And what should make you immediately discard an application?
Oh, he's pretty clear on that too. Applications that are unclear, badly written, totally unoriginal, like just copy-pasted stuff, toss them. His logic is simple. If they can't put effort into the application, they're probably not going to put it in the effort to actually get the job done later.
Fair point. Okay, so practically speaking, where do we find these people, especially in the affiliate space? He recommended a specific platform, AffJobs.
He did, yeah, AffJobs. He points out it's backed by big names in the industry like Affiliate World Forum and conferences.
So it has credibility.
Gives it credibility, yeah, and a real focus on that specific niche. He positions it as like the go-to place for finding serious pros in affiliate marketing.
And what kind of people does he say you find there?
He describes the types you'll likely see. Media buyers who've handled serious ad spend, experienced entrepreneurs, marketers who really know their stuff, and, importantly, international talent, too, which is great for remote setups.
And the platform itself. Easy to use.
He praises it for having a clean interface, being easy to post jobs on. Candidate profiles are professional and detailed. You get full control over the hiring process, tools to organize candidates rejected, interviewing, hired, etc.
Keeps things organized.
Exactly. And importantly, he stresses it's set up to help you avoid shady players in the industry. Focuses on quality.
Okay, that sounds pretty useful.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. After all this talk about building a team, James the Marketer also offers a different path, especially for people just starting out in affiliate marketing.
Yeah, it's a good counterpoint.
What's his advice for the newcomers?
He suggests maybe considering a different route first, like working as an affiliate manager for a decent network, or maybe working directly under a really experienced super affiliate.
Learn from the inside.
Exactly. The idea is to get that firsthand experience, learn the ropes, see how it all works from the inside out.
What are the benefits of doing that?
Well, several key things. You get a steadier income, right? Which is huge when your own campaigns might be hit or miss at the start.
Takes the pressure off.
Takes the pressure off. You also get to learn directly from people who've been there, done that, learn from their successes and their mistakes, hopefully avoiding some costly errors yourself. And you avoid some of the big financial risks of running your own campaigns right out of the gate. He calls it getting the best of both worlds, you're learning and earning.
Okay, that's a really valuable alternative perspective for some people. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into James the Marketer's insights, what's the single most important message you think people should walk away with?
I think the core idea, really, is that building the right team strategically, whether it's specifically affiliate marketing or, honestly, any complex thing you're trying to achieve where you want real growth, real impact. It's just essential. It's how you scale your knowledge, your abilities, and ultimately how you get meaningful results. It's about realizing you can't do it all yourself, not effectively anyway, and bringing in skilled people who complement you is just, it's crucial for getting to that next level.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. Thinking about your own goals right now, the challenges you're facing, what's just one specific area where bringing in a skilled teammate, and I'm using that term loosely here, could seriously speed up your learning, your progress? And look, this doesn't have to mean a formal hire. It could be a collaboration, maybe finding a mentor, or even just connecting with someone who has skills you don't.
That's a great question to ponder. And it leads to another one for you, the listener. Are there any resources we mentioned, like maybe AffJobs, that seem worth exploring for you? Or maybe just thinking differently about your own network, potential partnerships, based on what we've talked about today?